Hi guys, Squill here, and welcome to another episode of Railroute on this kind of mini playthrough series we're doing here. I think we're on episode 6 now. I have lost track slightly because I have been away on holiday, but I'm back. So yeah, glad you're enjoying the series. I have read through the comments, picked up some little tips and things that you guys have posted in there, so thank you for that. And I'm glad you're enjoying it. And a lot of people I can see have actually gone out and playing Railroute themselves, really enjoying it. So that's cool. It's a fun little game. Now, one of the things that was pointed out to me was at Ashfield, I have trains departing on platform 2 and arriving on platform 3. And obviously on a right-hand drive network, which is what we've got, it makes more sense to depart out of 3 so they can basically go straight out that way and then coming in on platform 2. So what I've done is I have basically switched these over so the departing ones are shown by the little arrow. You can see now that they're all departing out of 3 and arriving in on 2. I've got to do Steps and Bridgeton, so I'll show you what I did just to so you can see how that works. But first thing I want to do is, if we look at Ashfield's contract list, we can see that there's a gap here in the departures on platform 3 and there's a gap here in the arrivals. So I think there's a contract available, yeah, that one there, Ashfield to Queen Street to Ashfield, 77k. This track is all upgraded to the fast stuff, so we should be able to keep that speed up mostly. So yeah, I think what we'll do is quickly pull in that contract, but we'll time it so that we can sort of speed up time. We want it to depart around about the time that this one is arriving back. You can see it coming back here, so that it neatly fits into the gap. So we'll just fast forward slightly, then we'll bring it in on platform 3 and chuck it into Great Queen Street. Keep calling it that. It's called Queen Street, not Great Queen Street. I used to work near a place near Great Queen Street, and that's why I keep saying that. Right, so we'll say Ashfield, Queen Street, Ashfield, go. And we'll bring it in on platform 3. Now, it'll naturally want to go somewhere. If we look at Queen Street, what I also did was I moved all the trains that were coming in here on platform that were coming in here on platform 4. I've moved them out to platform 3, so everything's now arriving on platform 3. I wanted to free up 4 for any work that's coming through here, so 5 of 4 are kind of dedicated to this side of the equation. 3 is our current arrival point from Ashfield, but will likely change to platform 1 when we buy that, and then 2 and 3 will kind of deal with the southern side of this network, is what I'm thinking. So if you have a look at that, there's no default platform at the moment, so if you default that to platform 3, then when this train does eventually come through, which I think it might be waiting for me. No? Yeah, there it goes. Off you go. So that should default into platform 3, and then it'll come back. It should just route back itself. Just make sure it gets on its way. There we go. Platform 3 now is the default. And it should appear in the schedule around about there, which is fine. Let's see what speed we got out of it. So that's one thing you guys are saying. And that obviously came about because, if you remember, I think we bought platform 2 by default and 3 came later, and then we ended up with this one-way system. I really should default that to platform 2, which is something I did forget to do. The reason that couldn't go through because that was defaulted incorrectly. I'd missed that. So that contract might be a little bit lower now. We might have to cancel it, unfortunately. Let's see what we get. 61%, 2.5k. We could have done a lot better, but we'll take it because it's better than having nothing in the schedule for now. So yeah, this network here, if you like, this second tunnel became available when we got a bit more money, and I have allowed it to run a little bit. But what has been pointed out to me is that, get rid of that. What's been pointed out to me is that because we have effectively a one-way system. We are eastbound on the south and we are westbound on the north. Therefore, we do not need to have these automatic signals. They can just be reverted back to a manual signal, like that and like that, because we don't need any automation logic coming out the tunnel in the easterly direction this way. So we can actually revert them back and save a bit of money. I think we had a similar issue up here as well, because I've got everything coming in eastbound on the south and everything coming out westbound on the north. What we can do is revert that back to a manual, because we only need the automation signals in the direction we're heading, and we have a one-way system through that tunnel. So that got us a little bit of money back, which is another great tip. I can't remember who posted that one. I think it was Aj Maipulu, I think is his name. He said auto blocks don't need to can have manual signals on the end. So I think that's what it meant. So that one's sorted. Tasty Fish also asked, did you remember to change the default platform for your first arrival center back to none? So I think he was on about this arrival center here. And the answer is no, I didn't change it back to none. He said, oh, did you want it on 3? That is probably going to stay on 3 because we're going to rework this timetable anyway now. But what we'll do is we'll do steps first, because steps is a little bit easier. So I'll just slow time down. If we click on steps, there's a couple of elements to this. If we look at this, our departing trains are coming out of platform 1 and our arriving trains are coming into platform 2. So what we'll need to do is we have a departure gate sensor thing here. We're going to have it there instead, because we're going to be departing out of platform 2. And then in terms of the arrivals here, we need to check the arrival center to make sure if we did have any or want any default platform, we set it. So that's the main thing to concern yourselves with. And obviously, what we can start by doing is saying, right, let's have a departure sensor on platform 2. Then we can go to the first one. We can click over here to copy that configuration, and then we can paste it into here like that. And that's complaining because this doesn't have an auto signal, which it now does, because it can't control a manual signal. And we can just check what it's doing by looking at the route table, and we can see that everybody else is sent to here and finished trains are sent to nowhere. So it's just that. That's the only logic. And then what we can do is we can get rid of that. Now I will just temporarily pause it because I don't want anything changing under my feet. So if we're departing off of platform 2 and we are arriving on platform 1, we'll change the default platform here to 1. So it's going to default trains into here. So any new contracts we take, it will default them into our arrival platform. This may change later when we get more platforms, maybe, but for now, this is what we want. The departure sensor will send everything to outbound here, which will stop trains from crossing over unnecessarily. That's the main reason we're doing this. Now we need to adjust the timetable. So what you do is you click on the station, then click on full hour. That will give you visibility on everything. And then platform 2 is our departure. We can see we have an arrival here, so we need to move him up. So we click on that train and we click on adjust timetable. And remember, you will only see this if you unlocked it. You have to spend points to get the adjust timetable ability. But what you can do is you click on adjust timetable. Now this is where it gets very easy to make an error. It's departing here, it's going to Queen Street, and it's coming back here. We're dealing with the arrival, not the departure. Yeah. So we need to click on this steps here, because this is the train coming back, the arrival. And we want to move it to platform 1. There you go. That's all there is to it. Click on the departure, and we want to move this. So we want this one here. So adjust timetable. The departure is the first platform. We want to put that on platform 2. And that's literally all there is to it. The only thing that can go wrong is you adjust the wrong one. So just be careful with your departures and arrivals. Like that. And this is an arrival. So click on the last one and put it back onto 1. And what you should see is this reversion here where you've now got departures coming out and arrivals, departures coming out of 2 and arrivals on 1. Like that. And then this one will go into here. And this one will go into here. And we can't quite see the rest of what's going on here, but what we'll do is we'll just run it now and let time tick. And we can see that there's more stuff later. So this one here will need to be adjusted. This is an arrival, so he'll need to go to platform 1. And this is a departure, platform 2. because it doesn't, although it says a full hour, it doesn't quite show a full hour. So just something to be aware of. This is 1440. It kind of loses 10 minutes. So now you can see everything is as we want it. And we watch these trains. They should all run out of here and they will not cross over at this junction, which will, of course, speed up the whole network. Now that's the easier one. Just making sure it's still working. It appears to be. The slightly more difficult one is Bridgeton. So the reason Bridgeton's a little bit more difficult is because we have 3 platforms and it is a terminus. It terminates on the end of the map here. So, you know, we're going to have some departures out of Bridgeton, not too many, but we will have them. And what I propose to do is take most departures out of platform 1 as best as we can, most arrivals into platform 3 as best as we can, and platform 2 will be used for intermediate stuff. So that is sometimes we'll arrive, sometimes we'll depart. Yeah? That's the goal. So we'll just let these trains get out of here. We don't want to be doing it while they're still around. Just checking everything's fine over here. It looks okay. Don't see any trains stuck anywhere. Although I do see a train stuck. I do indeed see a train stuck. What's he doing? Oh, he's gone the wrong way, I think. How the heck did he get over here? We're going to get a massive fine for this. Right, so he wants to get back to platform 2 on steps. We're going to have to effectively reverse this train. So we need to back him out of here, I think. Although I think I'm not sure he can turn around in a tunnel. He might need to come out of here. Let's get him out of here. I don't know how he's got here. He's supposed to go from steps to Queen Street to steps, and somehow he's ended up down here. So there must be a routing error somewhere. Let's see. Queen Street sends them that way. Ashfield sends them that way. Others go to here. So how did he... If he was going to steps, he must have... Oh, it must be this. It must be this. But I don't know why. So if you want to go to steps, go that way, which is in fact correct. Everything else goes here. Somehow he got routed here, even though he was going to steps. That's kind of strange. Okay, we need to get him out of here. He's well and truly stuck. I think he was reversing very slowly out the tunnel. There we go. Right, you go there. And then we'll turn him around. Okay, he's turned around. And for steps to go that way. He should be on his way now. That's kind of bizarre. I can only imagine he wanted to go to steps 2, but steps 2 was changed to a departure platform, and he couldn't work out how to get to steps 2. That's the only thing I could think of. Yeah, so he is locked out by this. So the default's platform 1, but specifically he'll request 2, so that's where he'll go, and then we'll get a huge fine. What's that? 4,000 delay. Ouch. And even worse than that, the departing train's now waiting for him to disappear. There we go. Right. Okay. I don't really know how that happened. He's going to steps 1. Let's just make sure everything's working here. Yeah. I don't know. I genuinely don't know how he went there. Anyway, so what we're saying, we're going to rework Bridgeton down here. So we're just waiting for the trains to disappear. And then we'll do that. Was there anything else in the comments section that I need to work on? Yeah, somebody said about arriving on platform 2 and departing on arriving on 3, on 1, departing on 2, and the same here, so we've done that. As soon as he's gone, we'll sort Bridgeton out. Although it looks like there's going to be... It's a pretty busy platform, Bridgeton, that's the problem. I think we just pause it and get on with it. That's the best thing. Now, we're lucky we have departure things going off on every platform. So in theory, we can depart every platform. In practice, we don't want to do that. So really what we want is our default platform to be 3 on arrival, and everything will depart in that direction. So that's all fine. So really the only thing we have to deal with in this instance is the actual schedule itself. Now this is slightly more complicated. We're going to by default, we're going to depart on platform 1. That's him there. So he's currently blocking platform 1, which is going to be a one-off thing though. So we'll adjust that, punt him onto 1. And then what we'll do is we'll say, now this is where we see we can't put him on 1 as well. So what we'll say is we'll have to put him on 2 because he can't slot in the same area as him. He'll just conflict. So this is where 2's being used as a hybrid. The arrival coming back will go onto platform 3 by default. This guy here, we will bring him out of platform 1. Now, these two are fairly close together. That could be an issue. We'll have to see. But we definitely don't want him there. We want him arriving back on platform 2. And we want him platform 1. Can we put him on platform 1? Maybe a bit too close. This guy here, I'll just put him onto platform 2 for a second while we bring him down to 3. This part of it is a little bit tedious, I think. It would be nice if you could just kind of, click on this and drag it, but you can't do it yet. It'd be so nice to be able to do it that way, though. Arriving on platform 3. You get the idea. Platform 1. Now, he can't arrive here so close, so he will have to come back onto platform 2 because otherwise, actually thinking about it, I think he's going to have to come back onto platform 2. I think he'll have to go there, and then he will have to go onto platform 3 like that. This guy will have to go on platform 2. He will have to go onto platform 1. And then we'll just speed up time so we can see what's going on. So there's going to be a conflict here. There you go. It's complaining, but it'll be fine. There you go. Just part of the getting the new schedule up and running. 1 and then 2, that's fine. So it looks like that's going to be okay now, but that's why we need platform 2, because we have, the fact of the matter is, you can just cancel some of these contracts out and not have this problem. That's another way of doing it. And we may end up doing that later. But in terms of just what we have right now, this is the setup that works nicely. Cool. So I think we've almost got that knocked on the head. There is one there, sneaky one. Shouldn't have been there. It's best to do it this way though. Make your adjustments, bring up the full hour, put it on high speed, and just make sure that you don't see anything suddenly appear where it shouldn't be. Like this guy here, for example. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's done. Right, that's everything I wanted to do initially, just to polish things up. We now have a better network, a lot less crossing over going on our train network. Okay, so everything appears to be running nicely. We probably need to start spending some cash and getting some upgrades. So let's start off by looking at the system upgrades and see what quality of life things we don't have. We have a lot of green points, so things like this, the colored train labeling. Train labels are colored according to the priority of an immediate action required by the train. So this is going to give you a clue as to how important it is that you let this train go through, which, can be handy, not essential, but can be handy. 5 points worth getting. There's also this one here, train enter button, which is in the overview. It will just give us an option there to quickly accept it. Displays a train enter button for each waiting to enter train in the overview. We shouldn't really need this. Probably a thing you can get early on, but for completeness sake, we'll unlock it. With the arrival of arrival sensors and things, it's kind of not necessary, but you will use it occasionally, so we'll take it anyway. Now, onto the control side of things. One of the things I'd like to get at some point is this, the tunnel. Green's not a problem, red is a big problem. This will unlock the ability to build tunnels. Now, tunnels are very expensive, but there are certain bottlenecks on the map. Example, this one here, where, we can't build at all. We're literally single track through here. which is definitely a bottleneck. So if you want to get around this, we're going to need to start tunneling. So that is something that we'd like to get, but not yet. Advanced tracks, if you want to spend 10 red, we can get a higher speed track. However, it sounds like a good idea, but bear in mind, a slow speed track costs 800 per tile. A higher speed track and 80 costs 2,000 per tile. If we unlock the next one, it's 5,000 per tile. And don't forget, each one of these auto tunnels here counts as 10. Each square of that counts, so that's 10 times that. That's 50k, 50k right there. That's 100 grand. That's high speed track for you. It ain't cheap. So we don't really need to worry about that yet. There's some quality of life things we could get. Wait and reverse is not a bad one. Hitting the reverse button while the train is driving will reverse it once it stops. So instead of waiting for it to stop and then hitting reverse, you get the idea. So we'll grab that. Dispatcher Deluxe is to do with increasing station limits. We don't need that yet. Stopping the reverse is horrendously expensive. We're not going to go near that. We've got all the automation. And then under contracts, we are yet to get the coach yard. That is something we will be doing very soon. Probably in the next episode, we'll get that. In this one, I want to focus on intercity trains. Timetable adjustment, be very careful with this. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the best out of this, but it basically allows you to adjust the arrival and departure times by a few minutes of trains. It does adjust the amount you get paid, and it's only something you can really do when you get faster track, because if you play with the arrival time of a train and reduce it so that it has to arrive earlier, the train has to go quicker on its journey, so you need faster track. So my advice is not to get that until you've got faster track and you know what you're doing. But for now, these are the things over here. We'll ignore these for now. Contract offers, we can get that and get even more contract offers, so why not? It's only 5 points. So that's that done. And then what we'll do is we'll upgrade our tracks. So again, this is going to be change track speed. It's going to be 10 times that price. So 10 times that, 20 grand, minus the track that's already been upgraded for a total of 6 grand. There we go. And we can't do that one yet, so we'll do that. Annoyingly, because I hate the way this works, but I understand why it works that way. That signal is locking that part of track, so we can't do it until we unlock it. So we'll just go and get all these other ones for now. Occupied track, or track that has a signal approved for use on that piece of track, cannot be upgraded. That's basically the rule, which is fair enough. So you see our money coming down rapidly here, but worth having. Don't know if there's any trains on this bit of track at the moment that are going to specifically benefit from the higher speed track. Let me just slow that down. So we will cancel that, and then we'll upgrade the track, and then we'll approve it and control click it and put it back on infinite. Cool. So we now have all of our track on the network is now 80k track, which will definitely help us. Now we need to decide what we're going to do next. Right, so I mentioned a little while ago, the thing we're going to focus on now is intercity trains. Now, intercity trains are one of those things that we have unlocked, and if you scroll through our list of contracts, you'll see them. There's freight trains, commuter trains, and intercity trains. Commuters, we know, we've been dealing with these all the time. They're literally commuter trains. They go from somewhere, they come back again, and they run on the schedule. Intercity are trains that will not return effectively. They will need to be guided through. You'll need to be very careful how you drop them into the network, because they usually need to be quite high speed. Usually, I say that, but be very careful when you look at them, just in case the speed they're asking for is not something you can deliver. However, they do deliver red tokens, so they're definitely worth looking at. We have one here and we have one here. This is perhaps the easier one to deal with. This goes from Steps to Queen Street to Ashfield, which means we need to somehow get it through this network unimpeded. That's probably not going to be possible. One of the things to consider is we have trains arriving on platform 2 and then sitting there. We have a lot of commuter stuff going on. Remember the schedule? Platform 2 has got stuff going all the time, so it's going to be pretty hard to drop it into that network. Likewise, over on steps, platform 2 is used for departures. We do have gaps here. Look, we do have a gap, so we can throw a train out of here. If we get it right, we can come along here. We're going to get bottlenecked. It's going to be a problem. And then we may have things sat on platform 5, but I have moved things off platform 4, so we can come through platform 4. As long as we don't interfere with other trains here, we'll be good. And this is the hard bit, is trying to work out when I can depart this train to get it through here, so it's not blocked there, so it can get through here, it's not blocked by another commute train, and it can pass straight through Ashfield. Now, in order to get it right through Ashfield, what I'm going to do is unlock this bit of track here. So we'll go to purchase, and we'll buy Ashfield, and we'll upgrade its track to a high-speed track. We don't need to worry about that being an arrival. In fact, we could change that now, because that's not that doesn't need to be. Oh, it's locked. I was going to say that doesn't need to be an automatic signal either. What we'll need to do is have some way of getting over here. We need to get over there, and at the moment we can't do it, so we may have to sort of think about coming off the back or reworking this track so we can access that, because we can't build from there to there. It may not be a problem. We can delete this crossover here. It will stop us from coming along and going into platform 3. If we're happy with that, and I think we are happy with that, then we can basically get rid of this track from here to here. Hang on. So we'll get rid of that piece there, and that will allow us to then go that way. There we go. So we'll just trash that. And then we should now be able to build from here like that into there. Do we need anything else? We're only going to take arrivals from here. This is just purely outbound stuff. So we could start to share the load between, platform 2 arrivals and platform 1. That's fine. If we want to increase more contracts in here, we're going to need another platform to have secondary departures. The sacrifice we've made, though, is as you're coming along here, you can't now jump over down there. We could change that by perhaps moving this further back. But remember, if we do that, we put the sensor nearer to this signal, which means trains start to slow down before it gets a chance to switch the signal. But coming out of a tunnel arguably isn't such a problem. So what we could opt to do in this instance is get rid of the signal. Let's get rid of that first. Like that. Get rid of that signal. And then instead we'll put the auto signal just slightly further back. We'll make that always green. Now this has now been affected because it doesn't know what to do here, because this has now changed. So we're saying this is your auto signal now. Ashfield is your platform, default platform arrival on 2. That's fine. That's now fixed, but then that allows us to put this back over here. Oh no, it doesn't, does it? I've miscalculated. It doesn't allow us to come back over here because you can't have a V shape, and there's no way around this. We can't put this further back. We could put that there, but that would stop it coming there. No, there's no way of doing this unless we do perhaps that. Now we can't. We come along here. You come like that, and then you could delete that to there, and then put that to there. So that's one way of doing it. That would allow you to get out if you wanted to. You come out of platform 2. So that go in there, it can go in there, it can go in here. That links, that links, that links. Yeah, I think that's the solution. Sometimes you just have to think on your feet and be like, how do I make this work? But that should do it. Right, so now in theory, we've opened the door for the Intercity train to come through platform 4 here, go into that tunnel, come out of there and go into platform 1. Now, the only thing to bear in mind is at the moment, that's defaulted to platform 2. So for this Intercity, we'll change it to 1. It won't affect anything that's on a schedule. It will only affect new contracts. or, you know, trains coming in that don't have a specified platform, it will default them. That's what that is. Right, so let's try and find a gap in the schedule here. We can see it, it's coming up. The only thing to bear in mind is that this train, when it departs, it will come into Queen Street, and it will want to come back again. So we kind of want to depart it soon after it's left, and it's already left now, so I've missed it. Because otherwise what will happen is we need to depart it so it doesn't get stuck behind this, but because it's got to go through this tunnel, it's going to slow it down, and inevitably it's going to meet this one on the way back, and there's not a lot we can do. We could, in theory, build a track through here and send the Intercity that way. That is potentially an option. So I just brought Springburn, thinking to myself, oh, I know what we could do. We can go that way. We can just bypass Queen Street. No, you can't, because the actual contract says that it wants to go to Queen Street specifically, so we can't bypass it with Springburn. So I bought that platform, but then realized I didn't need it anyway. So yeah, what we're going to have to do is time him out of here and just see what happens. So we'll do that now. I could try and catch him on the way back, maybe. Let's see how this goes. When's he leaving? If we catch him as he departs, this might work. Oh, he's going to sit there for like 2 minutes. Okay, I reckon I'm gonna roll the dice on this one, guys. Here we go. Steps Queen Street to Ashfield. Go platform 2. I figure he'll be out of that block. He'll be in that tunnel, and hopefully this is a good time to do this. Default platform any. Default platform 5. Here we go. Is that going to route him through? Yes, it is. Look at that. Look at that. It's working. This guy will also send him to there. It'll just get stuck here at Ashfield, I think. Look at that. It's beautiful. I think we timed it right. Oh, 4 minutes though. That's a long time. We've got stuff coming out of steps soon. It's going to want that platform. Okay, I think we got away with it. I need you to leave before this guy. Yes, it will. That's fine. So out he goes. And if we just set that to go platform 1, we probably got away with this about as quick as we could get it through. Boom, 9,000 and a red token. We'll take that. Now, there is no real science to the Intercity as much, because it's very, very difficult to work out. You can obviously work out where you're going to drop them into your network, but it's very difficult to work out how they're going to flow through the network with everything else that's going on. If you take an Intercity contract and it gets stuck, try to prioritize it over other trains. But at the end of the day, if you don't get it through, just cancel it. Just cancel the contract. You know, it happens is all I can say. But that's roughly how we dealt with one Intercity. Let's see if we can take another one here. We have another one, Ashfield, Queen Street to steps. How bizarre. I thought I saw a different one in here. Oh, there we go. Ashfield, Queen Street to Bridgeton. So that's starting... Ashfield, Queen Street steps. That's going back the other way. Okay, let's try this one, because this sounds a bit more challenging. Ashfield, Queen Street, Bridgeton. That's a nightmare, that is. It only pays 9 grand compared to this one, which pays 7. Oh, but that only gives us a green. This gives us a red. Expected speed 31 is not so bad, though. Right, so how would we do this? Well, we could try departing out of platform 3, but platform 3 really doesn't have any gaps in the schedule to do that. We could hybridize platform 1, but I think that would be a mistake. I think the better option for us here is to buy a new platform. In invest in some more stuff, and all we need to do is get it linked up here, which we can do. Well, we can just go straight down. That will be a nicer option. They can come this way. Is there any benefit to putting a piece over here? I'm not sure there is. I'm not really going to take arrivals on 3. I think we'll leave it like that for now. That should do it. What we will need is a departure sensor, and we can more or less copy this one, I think. So we'll copy paste that, because all it really says is go there. That's all it actually has to say. So, having done that, if we get this thing out of here, what can we do next? Well, we can send him into platform 4, which change that default, by the way, to 2. We can get him through platform 4 here, get it through there, get it through here to platform 1. It is going to be a bit of art and science. It might not work out. Oh, God. What's up with you? Asheville 3. Asheville 3. Why did he not auto clear out of that? Was that something to do with me changing the track here, maybe? Strange. I'm not really sure why that got stuck. We didn't have anything else though. Okay, seems to be running. Got a delay. Yeah, so let's bring him in on 4 and try and fit him in. And we need to get him through here, so probably now isn't a bad time to do this. If we have a look at Ashfield, we've got 1 departure on platform 3 soon, but we can get him through there. He's about to come back. Now feels like a good time. As good as any. Ashfield, Queen Street, Bridgeton. Ashfield, Queen Street, steps. Okay, go for platform 4. He'll spend some time in this tunnel. We then want him to go to platform 4. Really need him to go now. Thank you very much. Intercity is coming through. He's making his stop. And out he goes. And he should get routed correctly. The only thing he won't get routed on, of course, is which platform to go to, but that will queue. And that should be that. I think we'll get ourselves another red token here. Oh no. Of course you took your time. That's the only thing that held it up. That's a little shame. It was almost perfect, but it's still a pretty good run. Wow, only 52%. That's really it's a lot worse than I thought it would be, but no, I don't think we want that. We don't want 5 trains doing half money. No, we don't want that. But that was only for a green, wasn't it? That wasn't a red. But yeah, okay, so that one's the trickier one. Ashfield to Queen Street to Bridgeton. Bridgeton's such a nightmare to get through, but I think we can roll the dice on this, can't we? Let's try and get him out. Maybe after this guy. Just as he's about to leave, we'll drop this guy in and see if we can make this work. There we go. Right, so Ashfield, platform 4. That allows him to enter the tunnel. Now, because it's a 2-stage tunnel, he can go in there, and then when he goes here, this guy will be able to occupy that block. Oh, I didn't realize he wasn't going to stop. Well, that's a bad start. I honestly thought he was going to stop. Okay. Platform 4. Okay, that's a long stop. 5 minutes, blimey. You see, that's just impossible to predict. You know, a 5-minute stop at Queen Street, you can't predict how your network is going to flow. Which makes this kind of interesting and difficult. Right, he's about to leave. he should then get routed because his destination is Bridgeton. He should get routed south side by this because the auto block will send him that way. Then we need to think about where we're sending him through Cumbernauld. Cumbernauld platform 1 and 2 are always free. The problem with sending him through 2 is the indirect way that he has to get back out that way. Sends him across the inbound leg. So let's see what the timing looks like, and if hopefully we can send him through 3 or 4. But we kind of need to wait for him to come out to figure that out. I think 4 is going to be the way, because looking at this, I can see something coming in on 3. He may well conflict with this guy. Now, Bridgeton isn't any platform. We have something coming out at 2. The guy behind him is going to arrive on platform 3. He's going to be waiting 2 minutes. So the dice to roll now is if we put him on 3, we're going to have to put him on 3. We have no choice. But he could be sat here for a while and he could hold him up. No, he's straight through. Whew. So there you go. That's Intercity. It's an interesting thing because it gives you a way of manually getting red tokens, a bit like the freight trains, but you've got to steer them through your network. And you know, it is, like I say, it is difficult sometimes. But keep your eye on your contract list and see if you can get those red tokens up. In the next video, what we'll do is we'll look at the coach yard, because that's a whole world of interesting. And with the money, I think maybe we'll expand our network and perhaps come down to Glasgow. Not sure how far we can get, but we're doing well. And the coach yards are next. They're a whole different ball game, but we'll go through that in the next one. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Leave me your comments. Let me know your thoughts, how you're enjoying the game, anything that you're struggling with, any tips you might have. Yeah, put it in the comments section. Take care, guys. Happy training.